Hi everybody, it's Alyce-Kay Ruckelshaus from Threshold of Hineni and the Widow Ruckelshaus. And this is going to be kind of a short video, I think, because I'm going to show you how this turned out and how I finish it and everything. And then in the next video, next week, I'll show you a bunch of ways to use it in a journal that I'm working on right now. It's a guided journal, so I'm going to be finishing that up, and I'll show you how to bind that in another video too, because I know that people are always looking for videos about binding, and I try to keep one up close to the top. Anyway, I'm also trying out a new angle for the camera. I've got it down a lot lower. Hopefully I won't bump into it with my head. But I'm hoping that this will make it easier for you to see the details, and also if I pull my sewing machine forward, hopefully you can see what's going on with the sewing machine instead of looking down at the top. So I also had this box out because I got like some shampoo and conditioner that were a set from Walmart, and it came in this box. This is Herbal Essence, okay? And I was thinking I might, for my next journal, I might use this for the cover, you know, decorate all this and everything, but leave this little window open. Wouldn't that be cool? So I don't know, I'm gonna think about that, and we might do that for an upcoming project. No promises, but let me know if you think that would be cool and you'd be interested in seeing that. So I want to show you, I already finished this because I thought it would be really boring for you to just watch me, you know, sew zigzag all the way along all the edges. So I already did that, but we're going to look over it because I haven't checked it yet to make sure that there aren't any papers that, you know, have edges that are sticking up. And then also you can just like see, okay, what I ended up with. So I have this whole roll, and you can, I mean, I could keep going with this roll, and I can still add to it if I want to, you know, and make it a lot longer. It's a great way to use up your scraps. I save all my scraps while I'm making junk journals, and yeah, so I make like, I have, I don't know, probably 20 Frankenpaper pages, sheets of Frankenpaper that I've made and stuff. So, and I was going to say too, you know, like I probably won't put, I'm not going to put this in my shop because I'm going to use it when I'm showing you how to use it. But if you would like me to make you a Frankenpaper roll, you know, let me know what your color scheme is, or if you just don't care what it is, and how long of a roll you want, and I'm happy to do that for you. I've got tons of scraps. So I do a mixture of paper and fabric. Look at this. I love this little edge from tearing out a page. I do paper, fabric, yarns and stuff, and also I sew it. You could do this all by gluing it. So if you've been watching the videos and you're all, well, I don't like to sew, you could glue all this instead of sewing it. I just like the texture. The back feels really good, but you'll never see the back on these. I like the texture. I like all the little threads hanging out. I don't trim this all off. I just leave that because it looks real shabby chic, and I think it just looks really cool. And then I also have yarn some places. I'll just put some yarn here if I have leftover scraps of yarn. You'll see like a piece from some burlap, just one little, you know, piece of thread from it, basically. I put fabric on here. This is silk here, and this is from a sari also, but I think it's cotton. Lace, you know, so you can just, anything that you've got little scraps of is really great. And so here's some more from saris and everything. Lots of paper, these little edges of paper. I like to take, like when I cut my papers and they've got this little edge on them, then I'll just take like a little bit of that and I'll lay it across the Frankenpaper or the Frankenpaper roll, and then I just like sew right over that. So it, you know, you don't have to sew both sides, just sew through the middle of it. So I'm looking for any like edges that are not put down all the way, like that one right there. Okay, so we're gonna pull the sewing machine up, and I think you can see okay what I'm doing. So, oh, I lost it, there we go. So I'm just gonna like really quickly, and I have this on zigzag. I think the next Frankenpaper I make, I'm gonna use the dark thread and just see what that effect is. Because you know you can't really see the zigzagging, but that's okay because there's so much going on. I've got little pieces from books. Oh, look at this. Okay, so I used like the top part of a spool. Yeah, we need to sew that down better. And I don't think I'll sew like all the way around it, but I'll just sew like quite a bit of the edge there. Okay, so my sewing machine, when I push this, it cuts it itself, but it just leaves like a couple inches like that. So there's lots of, oops, this needs to be sewn down. I've got a stamp here. I usually don't use whole stamps I just used that one because I wanted you to see that you could use stamps, but like if I'm opening up an envelope and it tears the stamp, then I'll put that in my Frankenpaper roll. And what I've got on the back of this, I just took a church bulletin and cut it up into strips, you know, so it doesn't go into the trash and get wasted. Here's a ticket. I think it was torn, so I just tore it further. Ooh, I felt something come up right there. Okay, let's get that down a little bit better. And the reason you want all those edges sewn down is because, you know, if somebody's writing in their journal and their hand goes across it and tears it, that's not going to be any good. Okay, there's some right there too. So let's get that. And then I just zigzag all along the edge. Now, if you're gluing yours down, you can sew all along the edge if you want to, but you don't have to. You know, you could leave it with a nice... You know, this is more like messy looking. That's what I like, kind of a shabby chic kind of look. But if you like a neater look, you know, then you don't need to sew along the edge. Sometimes I do ink the edges. I'm not going to on this one. I might, like, as I cut something to use it, I might on that individual piece if it's appropriate. Okay, so here's a piece that's sticking up. We want to get that. It's kind of a weird angle. And as I was making this, I think I explained this already in one of the videos, but just in case you missed it, as I'm making this so that I'm not dealing with this long piece all over the place, I roll it up and I use a paper clip to hold it together. So I'm only working with a piece about this big at a time. So it's not like so unwieldy or anything. Okay, here's some more right here. Here's a label from, I mean, not a label, but a size tag from one of... You know, my husband used to make sweaters, so it's from leftover from doing that. It wasn't from a sweater, it was one that wasn't used. And okay, so here, this lace, okay, that's not going to hurt anything if somebody comes across it, but I think I'm still going to go ahead and sew it down. And fabric, I like it to fray, so I don't sew it right up against the edge. I sew it just a little bit from the edge, like this one here, so it can fray down to the stitching. Okay, so oops, there's some stuck up right there. There's usually quite a bit, so I just go back through and I kind of examine it, and this way you're able to see what I'm used on it. Here's some fabric that I had stamped a whole bunch of, and it was just like a scrap that was left. Okay, so see this edge right here of this lace, how that comes up? I'm not going to sew that down because that's not going to hurt anything. Okay, and it adds texture to have it sticking up. This one here, though, there's quite a bit there. And this also right there. So let's just sew that. We can sew it all in one thing, I think. Just turn it. Well, I may have to pick it up because I don't know where that other piece is now. My sense of direction isn't good. Where was it? Oh, right there. Right there. Okay. Get that down. So I love Frankenpaper, and you know, this just gives me another way to use it. Okay, there's a piece right there. So in the next video I'll show you, like, we'll go through the journal that I'm working on right now, and you know, we'll use some of this, or maybe, yeah, we probably won't use all of it, but we'll use some of it for stuff like see, now here I made it intentionally. I smushed it so that there would be like that texture of that sticking up. So I don't want to sew this down because that would kind of ruin that texture. I'll use some for belly bands. That's a really obvious thing. I could put lace on the sides of it, or I could just leave it like this because those edges are so cool. And I can use it for just like edging on the side of pages. I can use it, I can put several layers together to make a pocket, or I can use it for the trim on a pocket. There's just so much that you can do with this, and it's just really fun. Okay, so that's all done. Everything looks good. So then I just take it and I roll it up. I kind of look at it. Oh, the other thing I wanted to show you was I want you to see how the color scheme changes as I did it. Okay, so I started out with like these browns and blues and stuff, and started moving to reds and greens, and some more blues and greens, and then I started adding pink in. Okay, and now it's pink and green, and then as it goes along, and there's still some things that I use all the way through so that it all ties it together, but then as it goes along it's going to become more like pinks and purples, okay, and burgundies. Okay, So do you see how that changes? So you've got like, if you've got a lot of different colors of scraps, then you can just have it go along like that, and then you've got lots of different color things that go with different color schemes. But this all goes together even though it's got different color schemes because it's got some of the same things. It's got this silk all the way through it. Okay, and a few of these papers like this paper and this paper go all the way through it. So that way it all is connected and I can use all of this in the same journal. Okay? All right, so I love you all. I will talk to you later. Oh, one more thing. I was going to say too. Okay, so as I'm making a journal, I'm saving all the scraps. So then sometimes what I do is before I finish that journal, I sew all the scraps into either Frankenpaper or a Franken roll like this, and then I use that in the same journal so it coordinates with that journal. For this one, I use scraps from a whole bunch of different journals. I mean, like all my journals from the last year. This isn't all the scraps I have. I have baskets and baskets and baskets of it, but this is a mixture of ones that I've used all this last year. Okay, I love you all. I will see you next time. We'll be talking about how to use this, and I'll show you how to use it in a journal. I love you. Bye-bye.